Hey Chemistry, happy Wednesday. So this is our weekly assignment for the week ending on December 18th, the last week before winter break. Monday, I asked you to finish the assignment from last week if you haven't already, and I'm still working on a key. Yesterday, come to our class meeting or look at the slideshow that I posted on Teams yesterday. And on Wednesday, today, I'd like you to start trying to figure out what are the products of these reactions. And there are a couple steps, 3 steps really, to doing this. The first step is to figure out the reaction type, because that'll tell you how the atoms are going to rearrange. The second step is to actually rearrange the atom, figure what's going to bond with what after what when the reaction is finished. And then the third thing is to make sure that your molecules are neutral by dropping and switching the charges of your ions. In class, we worked through several of these as example problems. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to work some different ones, so I still give you examples of how to solve the problems. But I think we made it through the first 4, and there's only 10 problems, so I want you to practice at least a few of them. So I have these. Similar equations, just not the exact same one. The instructions say write the reaction type and products for the problems below. So looking at this first one, I have aluminum plus chlorine. Both of these are elements, so it can't be a single replacement or a double replacement or a decomposition or a combustion. So the only thing it can possibly be is a synthesis. So wherever you're recording your answer, write synthesis. And once you realize it's a synthesis, you know that the atoms are going to combine into a more complex molecule. I'm going to write aluminum. And I know from my periodic table that aluminum has a +3 charge. And then I'm going to write chlorine, because it's going to be aluminum chloride. And chlorine has a negative charge. Last thing I need to do is drop and switch my charges to make sure my molecule is neutral. So the 1 would go after aluminum. You don't need to write ones. The 3 is going to go after chlorine. So that means my molecule, my products here, are going to be AlCl3. So looking at this next one, we have 2 ionic molecules. We have iron chloride and potassium hydroxide. So it's not going to be synthesis. And it's not going to be decomposition. That's usually one thing falling apart into 2. There's no element, so it can't be a single replacement. And there's no oxygen, so it's not combustion. The only thing the second one can possibly be is a double replacement. So I'm going to write Dr, and then I need to figure out how everything is going to rearrange. So remember the outer 2 species, whether they're elements or not diatomics, elements or polyatomics, are going to recombine with each other, and then the inner 2 are going to recombine with each other. So I have iron, which is going to be Fe, and I can tell from this molecule that my iron is +2 because each chlorine is -1. So +2 iron is going to recombine with hydroxide, which is OH, with a negative charge. And then potassium is going to pair with chlorine. K has a positive charge, and chlorine has a negative charge. Last thing we have to do is drop and switch our charges to make sure our molecules are neutral. So the 2 from iron is going to go behind hydroxide because it's a polyatomic. We need to make sure that we have our parentheses. And then the 1 from OH would go behind iron. We don't need to write ones. Potassium is +1, chlorine is a -1, so these 2 cancel each other out without any subscripts. So our products are going to be Fe, OH, parentheses 2 plus KCl. Let's do one more. And for our third one, we have C2H4 plus O2, and we have to figure out the reaction type. So this could be synthesis. It's possible. It's not going to be decomposition. It can't be single replacement because this is not an ionic compound, C2H4, it's covalent. It's not going to be double replacement. It could be combustion. So this is either going to be synthesis or combustion, but because it's carbon and hydrogen with O2 gas, I know that this is combustion. So under reaction type, I would write combustion. I'm just going to write comb. But if you're writing it on paper, feel free to write the whole thing. And then the products, well, every combustion reaction makes the same products. They make CO2 and water. If you have any questions, please come to office hours or send me an email and I'll try to get you unstuck. Bye, chemistry.